Well, here we are again. This is the Tower Process Part 20, and it's the 8th card in a Celtic Cross. Right, so I've got my crumpled up piece of paper here. So this diagram you recognise because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the 7th card showing the present position. The one above it is the 8th. And it shows the influence of other people. And it's always useful to know how other people are going to act or react. So, depending on the question, sometimes people are going to be more important than others. Let's say you're getting married and you want to know how the marriage is going to go. The card in the 8th position can show the influence of the in-laws, right? Your mother-in-law, father-in-law, whoever it happens to be. And so if you get a card that is supportive or caring or cooperative, right? So you get the 2 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the Sun card, the Magician. It tells you about the influence that other people are going to have on the question. So you can get an idea of what kind of people they are or how they'll tend to behave or whether you can trust them or not. So if you get, let's say, the Tower reversed in the 8th position, can you trust other people? Probably not, because of the nature of the Tower card, showing the people falling headlong to the ground. So it's upset and problems and difficulties. And the fact that it's upside down kind of makes it worse, because the people may not even know that they're being awful or obnoxious or difficult, but it doesn't change the effect that they have a bad influence on the situation. So you turn the card in the 8th position, and then again, as I mentioned a little while ago, I like it because, or I don't like it because. So if the card shows cooperation, or if it's friendly or cooperative or understanding and sympathetic, and again you can know from the card itself whether you may never have thought, okay, this card represents a sympathetic person, but you figure it out. And so you can get an idea of the kind of person you're dealing with from the card in the 8th house and the 8th position, right? So they can be friendly, sympathetic, they can be difficult, they can be miserable, whatever it happens to be. Again, it depends on the card. But then I was thinking a moment ago, let's say it's a court card. So the court card can and people have trouble with court cards. So what you do is you look at the card and say, okay, this can be people generally represented by this particular court card. So people generally represented by the King of Batons, they're enthusiastic, they're energetic, they want to help you out, they're inquisitive, right? The King of Batons. Whereas the King of Batons upside down, it's a king upside down. They're going to want to try and control you. So maybe what you do is you figure out in advance how you're going to stop them, or how you're going to get out of their way, or how you're going to do what is important to you in such a way that they can't interfere. And again, you would look at the cards that have come up before this one to figure out what specifically you do to set things up so that these other people can't interfere. And again, it depends on the question and the cards that have already come up. Or the other thing is, it could be that the King of Batons represents one particular individual who's going to be important. So because it's a king, maybe it's the father-in-law, but it can be any dominating or domineering individual, because kings, let's say, kings run things, whereas queens run things, but they're more sensitive to what's going on. So if you get a king in the 8th position, either people generally are going to want to interfere, or there's going to be one older, settled individual, a king, who's going to be cooperative, because the card is upright. Upside down, you're dealing with kind of the opposite. Somebody who wants to run things their way and doesn't particularly care about you. Whereas the Queen reversed wants to run things her way, but she's more aware of what you actually want. And maybe she'll take account of half of what you want, whereas the King is going to take account of 0% of what you want. I mean, that's extreme, but if you paint a picture like that, then the questioner knows what sort of people they're dealing with. And the other thing is that the King, a court card in the eighth position, can represent the types of people. It can be one individual, but it can also be the types of people or the types of circumstances that you have to deal with, that they're going to bring to you. And because kings run things, it can be questions of who's in charge, not particularly an individual, but just generally speaking. This is the marriage, and the marriage wants to do what it wants to do, but the outside world, represented by the influence of other people, wants a say as well, or wants to direct you and guide you and be in control and be the authority. So you, the marriage, make your decisions, but then you need to check. The outside world expects that you're going to check with them to make sure that you're in line with the bigger family values or the bigger family plan. It's a bit like maybe the marriage decides they're going to go to Spain for a vacation, but the family doesn't like Spanish people and doesn't like foreign travel and doesn't trust foreign languages or doesn't like eating Spanish food. You know, people are funny like that. They've got these weird, or maybe not to them weird, but they've got these prejudices and strange ideas about what we should and shouldn't do. And they're very keen on their own ideas, but they don't, a lot of the time they've never thought through, why do I actually believe this? And do I have any right to impose my unthought out beliefs on these other innocent bystanders or these innocent people or these other people? So the eighth position, the influence of other people, and again, it may be that so if you've got an upright card in the eighth position, maybe we would say that other people will support you or other people are going to be available if you need them. Whereas with the eighth card upside down, there's not much point in looking for help from other people. They're either going to give you bad information or misguide you or tell you the wrong thing to do in one way or another. And again, you get the idea from the card itself. I can't think of a card. So keep my fingers crossed that I can say something here. Okay, I got a king. We'll leave that. We've discussed kings. The Empress. Okay, there's the Empress, right? So with the Empress upright, women support you. They're kind and cooperative, and they want to invite you to family get-togethers, and they produce nice food on the table, and they don't expect you to bring anything, that kind of thing, because it's the Empress, right? The Empress reversed. So you take a bottle of wine. Hey, why'd you bring this cheap wine? You know, can't you at least spend, I don't know, X dollars on a good wine? Or you take a cake or something, and they don't think it's a very good cake because, you know, why couldn't you have spent more or something like that, right? So that's but in a again, depending on the question and in a wider kind of situation, the Empress upright is supportive and welcoming and will go out of her way, or they will go out of their way to help you out or to make things easier for you, make things better, or maybe to introduce you to new people. And the people that they introduce you to are friendly. Whereas with the Empress upside down in the eighth position, if you're looking for support and cooperation, you're not going to find it for a while. It doesn't mean forever, but you're not going to find it at this time. So you're better to do things on your own and figure out what you want, or else. But with the Empress upside down, you're kind of wasting your time looking to other people to make things easier for you. And then the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so if this is the influence of other people is the Seven of Pentacles, this card shows somebody about to take the next step, right? They've picked one coin, let's say, and there's 6 more on the bush here. So what's the next step going to be? So with the Seven of Pentacles in the 8th position, then if you go to them, let's say you want to do some home renovation. I'm thinking of the marriage thing again. If you want to do some home renovations, you need a bit of extra cash. If you go to them saying, we need to renovate the kitchen, we're $2,000 short, what do you think? They'll think about it, but because the card is upright, they'll say, okay, here it is. And the reason they're supportive is because they see the sense of updating the kitchen because it adds value to the house, for instance, right? So they can understand the value because it's coins, and they appreciate that you want to move in, or you want a better kind of kitchen, and they like the plan, and they like the design, and they like the equipment that you would have there. Whereas if the influence for other people is the Seven of Pentacles upside down, if you go to them for a loan, sorry, can't do it. Either we can't do it because we don't want to do it, or we can't do it because we just can't do it. Or because it's coins representing values, they don't really approve of you, or they don't approve of putting money into a kitchen that they think is unimportant, even though we all know that kitchens are the best part of the house. I mean, if you get a nice kitchen, it's pleasant, it changes things. But these people don't, because they're the Seven of Pentacles reversed. They have different values, and they have different concerns. And so what do? You either redo your plans for the kitchen, or you save up more, or whatever you do, whatever makes sense. Either just generally from common sense, or you figure out what to do instead by looking at the cards that have come up already. Okay, that was a little bit about the 8th card showing the influence of other people. Next will be probably the 9th card. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.